Star Trek needs to give Voyager a comeback like Picard did for the next generation. When Star Trek Picard launched in 2020, it did more than just bring back Jean-Luc Picard. It reignited the legacy of the next generation, giving closure to lingering storylines while shining a light on the enduring relevance of those characters. Fans watched beloved figures like Data, Riker, Troy, and even Seven of Nine get a modern reintroduction. For many, Picard wasn't just a series, it was a long-awaited reunion. But there's another Star Trek show from the 1990s that deserves the same treatment: Star Trek Voyager. More than 20 years after Voyager ended its 7-season journey in 2001, the time feels right for Paramount to give this cast the kind of comeback that Picard gave to the next generation. A Voyager revival would not only satisfy loyal fans but also bring fresh storytelling opportunities for modern Star Trek. Why Voyager deserves a revival? For years, Voyager existed in the shadow of the Next Generation and Deep Space Nine. Critics often dismissed it as formulaic or too safe compared to DS9's serialized war arcs. Yet hindsight has been kind to Voyager. Streaming has introduced the series to a new generation of viewers, and its blend of exploration, survival, and character-driven drama has aged remarkably well. Voyager also holds a unique position within Star Trek. It was the first series to feature a female captain as the lead. Captain Kathryn Janeway Kate Mulgrew paved the way for stronger representation in the franchise, becoming a role model for viewers who had never seen a woman in command of a starship. Mulgrew's commanding yet compassionate portrayal remains one of Star Trek's most iconic captains. And then there's the ending. When Voyager concluded with Endgame, the crew finally returned to the Alpha Quadrant after 7 years stranded in the Delta Quadrant. It was a triumphant but abrupt finale. Viewers never got to see what came next, how the crew reintegrated into Starfleet, how their relationships evolved, or how their experiences shaped Federation policy. These unanswered questions leave fertile ground for a modern continuation. The Picard Blueprint. Star Trek Picard showed the right way to bring back a legacy crew. It didn't just recreate the next generation, it gave the characters a new context, years after their original journeys. The show leaned into nostalgia while exploring how time changes people. It let Picard wrestle with mortality, Data with identity, and Seven with belonging. That same formula could work for Voyager. Imagine a limited series that reunites the crew decades after their return, tackling unfinished arcs while also showing how their years in the Delta Quadrant continue to ripple across the galaxy. A Voyager comeback could be serialized, cinematic, and emotional, much like Picard, but with its own unique tone rooted in exploration and resilience. What a Voyager comeback could explore: 1. Janeway's legacy. In Star Trek Prodigy, Kate Mulgrew already returned as both Hologram Janeway and Admiral Janeway, proving she's still deeply tied to the character. A live-action revival could bridge the gap between Voyager's finale and Prodigy's timeline, giving fans a richer understanding of how Janeway transitioned from Starship Captain to Starfleet legend. Would she still wrestle with the moral compromises she made in the Delta Quadrant, like forming alliances with the Borg or bending Starfleet regulations for survival? A revival could show Janeway grappling with her past choices in a galaxy that has changed around her. 2. Seven of Nine's dual identity. Seven has already had a second life in Picard, where she joined the Fenris Rangers and later Starfleet, but her Voyager years remain central to her arc. A revival could reunite her with her old crew, forcing her to reconcile the human she's become with the ex-Borg who once struggled with individuality. It would also give her closure with Janeway, her mentor and surrogate mother. 3. The Doctor's personhood. Robert Picardo's Doctor remains one of Voyager's most popular characters, and his quest for recognition as a sentient being deserves a follow-up. In the years since, did he finally earn full rights as an individual? Is he still active, teaching new holograms about autonomy? Revisiting his journey could make for some of the revival's most poignant storytelling. Or Tom Paris and B'Elanna Torres. As one of Star Trek's most stable couples, Paris and Torres represent a rare example of long-term character development in the franchise. A comeback could explore their lives as parents, engineers, and veterans of the Delta Quadrant ordeal. Do they struggle with PTSD? Have they passed their stories on to their daughter, Meral? Their family dynamic could be a heart of the series. 5. Chakotay's return. Chakotay was often underwritten in the original run, but a revival could finally give him the depth he deserves. Prodigy already hinted at his fate, placing him in a dangerous situation far from home. A live-action continuation could explore how his Maquis background, spiritual beliefs, and leadership skills evolved over time. 6. Tuvok and Federation Security. Tim Russ's Tuvok appeared briefly in Picard's third season, but a Voyager revival could go deeper into his story. As a Vulcan torn between logic and loyalty, Tuvok remains one of the most layered characters in the series. A comeback could explore his role in Starfleet security and his continuing bond with Janeway. Voyager's themes are more relevant today. One reason a Voyager revival would work is because its themes resonate even more strongly in the 2020s. The series was about isolation, survival, and community, a crew cut off from its home, forced to find strength in one another. Post-pandemic audiences, who know what it feels like to be isolated and to rebuild communities, could connect deeply with these ideas. Moreover, Voyager's Delta Quadrant premise lends itself to fresh stories about exploration and the unknown, concepts at the very core of Star Trek. With so much of modern Trek focusing on political conflict discovery or nostalgia, Picard, a new Voyager series could restore the thrill of encountering strange new worlds. The challenges. Of course, reviving Voyager would come with challenges. The cast is older now, and some actors have moved on. Not every character arc can be neatly revisited, but Picard proved that audiences embrace older heroes when their stories are handled with care. The other challenge would be tone. Voyager often leaned episodic, with a reset button each week. A modern continuation would need to embrace serialized storytelling to stay relevant. It doesn't mean abandoning Voyager's spirit, it means building on it, letting the Delta Quadrant's mysteries echo into new conflicts and discoveries. A legacy worth celebrating. For years, Voyager was the middle child of Star Trek, loved by fans but overshadowed by its siblings. Today, it's finally getting the recognition it deserves. The series gave us a groundbreaking female captain, one of Trek's most compelling character journeys in Seven, and a sense of resilience that continues to inspire. If Picard taught us anything, it's that closure matters. Fans don't just want nostalgia, they want to see how their heroes have grown, how their legacies endure. Voyager never got that chance. Its crew returned home, the screen went dark, and that was the end. But it doesn't have to be. With the appetite for legacy Star Trek stronger than ever, and with Mulgrew, Jerry Ryan, and others still connected to their roles, the moment is ripe for a Voyager comeback. Not as a copy of Picard, but as its own bold continuation. Because if Star Trek is truly about going where no one has gone before, then perhaps it's time to chart a new course, by giving Voyager the return journey it always deserved. Would you like me to also outline a potential Voyager revival miniseries episode-by-episode pitch, similar to how Picard structured its seasons? Because if Star Trek is truly about going where no one has gone before, then perhaps it's time to chart a new course, by giving Voyager the return journey it always deserved. Would you like me to also outline a potential Voyager revival miniseries episode-by-episode pitch, similar to how Picard structured its seasons?